everyone. Welcome to my webinar. This is Dr. Nicole Davis with Yost Family Chiropractic, and I'm really excited to have you listening. Today, what we're going to do is kind of talk about chiropractic care and what it's really about. There are a lot of misconceptions out there, so I want to clear some of those up. The first thing I want to talk about, actually, it might be a little bit strange. We're going to go over to the next slide, and it says Christopher Columbus. Why would I bring this up, or why would I even talk about it? If you remember the story behind Christopher Columbus, he was the only person that thought the world was round and not flat. So back then, it was just common knowledge that the world was flat. You could walk right up to the edge and fall right off. And because that's what everyone thought, when he proposed the idea that it was round, they all called him unscientific. And, when in fact he was right. So when we look at healthcare, today what I want to do is challenge you to look at your health a little bit differently and to look at your body a little bit differently and appreciate it in a way that maybe you haven't before. So just looking here at the slide too, just thinking what is possible. So you're obviously making an appointment or listening to this webinar for a reason. It may be because you really just want to have your spine checked out. It may be because you have pain or discomfort. And I want to challenge you to think, okay, what is possible? Do you have to live this way? Why is this stuff happening? A lot of people will say, well, it's just normal for me, or this is what I'm used to. And are you really willing to accept that as normal? Or do you want a more abundantly healthy life? Is it time to shift your paradigm when it comes to health? So, what I want to do is help encourage you and make you strong in your thought process and how you look at your body and how you look at your health, and know that all things are possible. So how long can the human body last? The researchers say up to at least 150 years. So I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that's lived that long. With that being said, there's a lot of stressors that we deal with on a daily basis, and there are a lot of things that we go through physically, chemically, and emotionally that do take a toll on our bodies, which is why we don't last 150 years. So when we look at health, I want to kind of challenge you to think about what it really is. Health is going to be a state of optimal physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or symptoms. So a lot of people, if I ask them, do you consider yourself healthy? And they'll be like, well, I'm not taking any medications. I feel good. So yeah, I'm pretty healthy. But if you look at this timeline, just because if you look all the way to the left, it says lack of function. So another word for that would be death. So obviously if you have no function in your body, then you're not alive. If you look, that red area right in here, this is sickness and disease. So this would be areas of symptoms. But what about this middle area? What does that mean? If all the way to the right means 100% function and peak performance, does this mean that we're still as healthy as we could be, even though we don't have symptoms? That is going to be the new paradigm that I want you to kind of think about. Just because you don't have symptoms does not necessarily mean that your body is functioning the way that it's supposed to. Okay, and that's one of the things that we're going to check while you're here in the office. So are symptoms good or bad? Who and what do you trust? So symptoms are always the last thing to come in any condition. So if you think about a cavity, you have a cavity far, far before you actually feel it. But if you go into the dentist and the dentist says, you have this cavity, let's get it filled so it doesn't get worse, people will do that. They don't want to feel the pain. But pain is a good thing. Symptoms are a good thing. They are your body's way of crying for help and telling you, okay, something's wrong and I can't take it anymore. We need to do something different. When you come into the office, our primary focus is going to be your spine and your nervous system. So if you're coming in with pain or discomfort, our first question is, why? What is causing this? What's going on under the surface where your body isn't naturally taking care of this? If you take a look at this, the central nervous system, this is the communication center. So the brain coordinates and creates all harmony between every cell, tissue, organ, and system in your body. It communicates through a nerve network and allows you to adapt and experience your world. So your nervous system is your lifeline. So chiropractic care isn't really just about moving the bones in your spine. It's actually really not about that at all. Our goal is to affect the brain, affect the nervous system, and help your body function the way that it's supposed to. This is important because your brain talks to the rest of your body down your spinal cord. Now, your spinal cord's house are your vertebra, okay? So your body was designed to protect your spinal cord with bone. So that is how important it is. And it is very important to take care of the house of the spinal cord. And that is what we'll be looking at. So who do you trust? When we talk about who do you trust, a lot of us are so quick to jump to a medication or, to ibuprofen or, some kind of remedy. And what you really should be trusting is your body. Your body is amazing. It knows exactly what to do and when to do it. I mean, if you cut yourself, it heals. If you eat food, your body knows to digest it. So trusting yourself more may be hard, but I want to challenge you to take that step and actually trust that your body knows what it's doing. A couple facts about the body. Your body has 50,000 cells that will die and be replaced with new cells in the time it takes you to read this sentence. That's crazy. Scientists have counted over 500 different liver functions. There are 45 miles of nerves in the skin of a human being. Most people blink 25 times a minute. Your amazing body. Continued, the average human heart will beat 3,000 million times in a lifetime. Every 2,000 frowns creates one wrinkle. Smiling is better. The average human produces a quart of saliva every single day. A sneeze comes out of your nose at over 100 miles per hour. One human brain generates more electrical impulses in a single day than all the world's telephones combined. We are constantly recreating ourselves. We make a new skeleton in 3 months' time. New skin in just 1 month. Why? Ask yourself this. Why, when we get sick, do we have more faith in drugs than our own amazing body? I really want to encourage and empower all of you to love your body and love the body that you're in and say, you know what? I got this. My body knows what it's doing. It just needs no interference, okay? And we'll talk about that in just a couple minutes. When we talk about the body and we talk about the most amazing thing that actually happens, creating life, creating another life inside of your body is one of the most amazing things in the world. And it does tell us that there is innate wisdom in all living things, meaning your body just knows what to do. If we take a look at sperm, they're actually quite fascinating. This picture is a picture of sperm in the absence of the egg. So these tiny cells are able to swim all by themselves. And when they don't have the egg there, they just kind of swim around wherever. But then let's put an egg. Let's put an egg near the sperm. Now what happens? Each and every sperm can sense that and they go right towards the egg. So we don't control this, okay? We don't say, okay, here's the egg, sperm, go to the egg. There's nothing about that we have to think about. That is your body's innate intelligence to create life. And it does so through the nervous system, okay? So your brain is constantly doing this on a daily basis. Your nervous system, again, includes your brain to your spinal cord to spinal nerves. When you look at this chart, just to kind of take you through it, if you look at the very top here, this is the brain, okay? Obviously, all signals sent throughout the body go down the spinal cord and then out each and every area here through nerves. Now, these nerves connect to different parts and areas of your body, okay? So again, it's very important for the house of your spinal cord, your vertebra, to be in the proper position and to be moving and functioning the way that they're supposed to. So what if it's not? What if it's not functioning the way that it's supposed to? What do you think would happen? Well, there are a number of things that can happen. Now, your body compensates beautifully. You don't know. The problem always comes first, so you don't always know when there's a problem. You don't know there is a problem unless you get it checked or unless you have a symptom, and by that time, the problem's probably pretty bad. So when it comes to the spine, if there's an injury to that structure, injury to the house of the spinal cord, what we term that as chiropractors is a vertebral subluxation. This can be anything from changes in curves that you're supposed to have in your spine, reduced performance, meaning not moving the way that they should. An injury can reduce your efficiency, so how quickly and efficiently your brain can talk to your body and heal things. and take care of all functions. So if you think even about digestion, when you eat food and food ends up in your stomach, how do you digest that? I mean, do you think about it, or does your brain just kind of take care of it for you? If you have an altered structure that's affecting that particular message from getting from your brain to your stomach and your digestive system, you may not have digestion like you're supposed to. So it can reduce the efficiency in all body symptoms, or systems, excuse me. Degeneration. So if you have an injury to the structure, or you don't have the proper structure, that actually creates your body to have increased decay and degeneration, whether this is in the disc space or the joints. So what is the big deal? Why does it really even matter? These subluxations, they're like blown circuits in your spine. These subluxations interfere with spinal nerves, which disrupts the information coming to and from your brain, kind of like we just discussed, even with the digestive system, but that's with every system in your body. Do you really want to live your life knowing that you're not at your full potential and that your brain is trying to take care of your body, but it's just not able to because there's too much interference because of, damages to the spinal structures? So, good news for you. That is where chiropractic care comes in. We are the only doctors in the world that are specifically trained to locate, analyze, and correct these subluxations. Okay? Subluxations, they're called the silent killer for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is you just don't know that they're there. You only know they're there if you have pain or symptoms. And just because you don't have pain or symptoms does not mean that you don't have a subluxation or you don't have a problem in your spine. So getting your spines checked, even in the absence of pain or symptoms, is very, very important. There's a study that was done at the University of Colorado that showed that just the weight of a single dime on a nerve alters the brain impulses by 60%, which is insane. So if you take a dime and you can alter nerve function that much by just placing it on a nerve, could you imagine how much stress and how much pressure is being placed on your nervous system if you have a subluxation, a misalignment, or joints that are not moving properly? What I want to take you through next is just kind of looking at what would be normal. So when you're here in the office, what we will do is we won't just rely on your symptoms. They can be very misleading. We will do some tests, okay? Our tests include an exam. They do include x-rays, and they include some scans that will tell me how your nervous system is functioning. This is just an example of an x-ray. So this would be looking at the neck. So there is a proper structure that should be there. And in this first slide, you see it says normal cervical x-ray. You should have a nice, beautiful curve, beautiful disc spaces, and everything should be moving. The next slide shows early subluxation. So as you can see, the structure of the neck is actually starting to change. It is being altered due to the amount of stress that's being placed on it. If you look at the next slide, these yellow areas show, okay, so now we've changed the structure here in this area. Now we look down here, what's happening? It starts to decay and degenerate. Okay, so this is early degeneration or decay. If you look at the next slide, this would be advanced. Okay, so this is the stuff that kind of built up and up and up throughout time to create this situation where, as you can see, you can kind of no longer see the disc spaces there. The bad thing about degeneration and decay is, unfortunately, once it's there, we cannot correct it. We cannot fix it. I cannot go in there and get rid of your degeneration. I can't get rid of your decay. All we can do at that point is manage it. And this is why it's really important to get your kids into, because at that point, so this happens over years and years and years of time, okay? So if you start early in your care and you get your children's spines checked, you can avoid this process from happening altogether. Instead of waiting until it gets bad and waiting until you have symptoms and then taking a look and saying, well, gosh, some of this is correctable, but most of it isn't, and now we have to manage it. if you take a look here, what's happening on this neck x-ray is basically just showing you, okay, it had a beautiful curve. Now let's add stress and stress and stress over the years, and now look what's happening. And now it's starting to crunch down and degenerate, okay? This has a direct effect on your brain's ability to communicate with your body, which is so important. You cannot live without your brain and your spinal cord. It is so, so very important. Once this stuff is here, you're affecting your health in a number of ways, and it can show up in throughout a number of different symptoms in your body. So there really is no one symptom that says, okay, yes, you will benefit from chiropractic care, because that's not really our overall goal. Our overall goal is to correct the underlying problem and let your body do the healing. But at this point, like you see in this final stage here, this is pretty bad, okay? You've lost the disc spaces, you've lost the curve. Now we have to manage that. A lot of times you won't have a lot of motion at all. You'll have a lot of pain, neck stiffness, headaches, that kind of thing can come along with this, okay? So what causes subluxations? What causes these things to happen? I get asked that question all the time. It's like, I was fine yesterday and all of a sudden I woke up and I'm not okay. I don't feel good. Like, what caused this? Everyone wants to kind of put their blame into something. They want to say, okay, I slept wrong, or I bent over and I twisted and all of a sudden I threw out my back. And unfortunately, that's just not how it works. You will never sleep wrong to the point where you're going to wake up and not move your neck, okay? The reason that happens is because you have allowed the stress to accumulate for so long and cause the problems that we saw in the previous slide to happen. Those problems make you more prone and at risk to injury, okay? So that is why some people will, quote unquote, sleep wrong and wake up and not be able to move their neck, because they have so many problems under the surface. And they say, okay, why is this happening? And I challenge you to take a look at your life and say, okay, what is going on emotionally? What's going on chemically, and what's going on physically? What stressors are in my life that could be causing these things to happen? So when we look at correcting the spinal subluxation, it will be through chiropractic adjustments. Now, there are a number of ways to do adjustments, so fear not. If you have questions about it, let us know when you get in here. There's a number of different ways to do this. One of the things that we're going to do when we adjust your spine is going to be restore the motion, okay? By restoring the motion, you're going to improve that flexibility. It will stop and halt that degeneration process from continuing, okay? So while I said we can't get rid of it, our goal is to really kind of put a halt to it, put a stop to it, and allow your body to heal and allow it to not get worse so it won't cause more problems in the future. We want to maximize the information going from your brain to your body and from your body to your brain. We want to maximize your performance. Getting adjusted improves overall health, okay? So when people come in, they're like, oh, I have some low back pain. Can you fix that for me? Like, can we just, crack it back into place or pop it back into place and all will be good? My answer to them is not necessarily yes, because that's not really our overall goal. The beauty of the body and how amazing it is that it really just does not need help to do the things that it's supposed to do. It just needs no interference. And these subluxations in the spine cause an interference, okay? So my goal and what I'm doing is adjusting your spine to allow your body to heal. Your body gets rid of the low back pain. Your body gets rid of the headaches, okay? All I'm doing is removing that interference. And by removing that interference, a lot of people will say to me, well, gosh, my headaches are gone, but I don't have that brain fog anymore. I have more energy. I used to be tired all the time. Now I'm not tired. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see, because people benefit so much more from chiropractic care than what they give themselves credit for. If you're coming in with one problem or one symptom, there's a lot of other things that could be going on under the surface, which means your life can be overall, and your life and your health can be overall optimized by having your spine checked and by taking care of it. And that last one was, it takes time, okay? So, they get it a lot in the medical field, and we get it a lot here too. People come in and they've got their complaints, they've got something going on, and they're coming to us because they want a diagnosis, and then they want the doctor to prescribe them something or give them, an adjustment, or, say, oh, you need a massage, and they want everything to be fixed and everything to be better. And unfortunately, that's just not how the body works. You have to ask yourself, how long has this problem been there? Not the pain, not the symptoms, but the actual problem, okay? How long has the problem been there? That is what we are here to help you find out. That's why we take the x-rays. That's why we do the exam and scans for you. And you say, okay, if this has been here for years and years and years, you really think that just one adjustment or one massage or, a prescription, whatever it might be, is going to fix that? And that's the reality that everyone kind of has to face, and they have to say, okay, that might not be the case. So that's why, in this last thing on this slide says it takes time, okay? It will take a little bit of time. Now, it's lucky for all of you, and for me as well. I mean, symptoms are always the last thing to come in a condition, and they will always be the first thing to leave. And so that's kind of the beauty of it. Once we get through that, then we really focus on health and well-being, and that's the fun part. That's where the gold of it is. Chiropractic adds life to your years, okay? So you say, okay, I have so many testimonials. You can go on to the Yost Family Chiropractic website and look at the testimonials there. You are open to talk to us, talk to other patients, and just make yourself aware of what's out there and how helpful it's been for other people. Make the decision for yourself if this is something that you want to do. And you say, like, right in the second line, it says who can benefit. We kind of briefed on kids, and we do specialize here in this office on pediatric care and prenatal care. For women, really anyone can benefit from chiropractic care. And if I've taught you anything throughout this webinar, it's that what we're doing is enhancing the function of the body, okay? And everyone can use an enhancement. And there's no one that, if you remember that timeline, there's no one that's at 100% full function all the time, okay? There's too much stress out there. So everyone could use an adjustment or use a spinal check at the least to see if they even need adjusted. How can you participate? Most of you have already made your new patient appointments here in our office. And what we'll do during that new patient day is I will sit down and talk to you, and I'll say, you know what's going on? I just figure out, first of all, if I can help you. And that's why we do the test. I know I said this a couple times already, but we will do a full examination. We'll do full spine x-rays as long as there's no contraindications for it. We'll also do scans, okay? These scans will tell me how your brain and spinal cord are responding to the structural stress that you have on your spine. We will also go over any insurance that you have. We'll go over the cost of everything at that time, and we'll kind of make up a good game plan for you. You will get relief care on your first visit. When you come back, you will have a report of findings. During this visit, I will be going over your x-rays with you. I will be going over your exam and your scans, and we're going to sit down and say, okay, what do we need to do? How can we help reach your goals here in the office? And then if you have questions at that time, you can let us know. I want to thank all of you for listening in. I hope that you did learn something. Please come with questions. I love questions. I do believe knowledge is power, and education is key. So we will have stuff available for you here in the office too, whether it be articles, or, even if you just want to sit down and talk. And if you already have care here in the office, if you're already getting adjusted and you've got questions and you want to sit down and talk, just let us know. We'll schedule some time and sit down and see how we could best serve you in that way. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I look forward to meeting those that I haven't met yet, and I look forward to taking care of the people that I'm already taking care of. Have a wonderful day.